Let us do pre-show shot.
Pre-show shot.
My chaser. Cheers. To episode 10. This is episode 10.
Episode 10. Wow.
Yeah.
The big 1-0.
Cheers. I feel like we should have actually had something more festive.
Eh.
Rum is fine.
Rum is, yeah, it's good enough.
I was way more than a shot. But yeah, this is our 10th episode, and it's very exciting.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because
Can't believe it's 10 already.
yeah, man, yeah, which is exciting.
Yeah.
So of course we're talking about something happy today, which is
Naturally.
naturally. So we're talking about human trafficking and how women stay safe in these days in these streets.
Yes.
Very excited, but let me backtrack really quick and do the intro. Welcome to C3, the podcast where we talk about creators, their creations, and have great conversations like about human trafficking. My name is Neeks.
And I am Bax.
And here we go.
Let's do it.
Episode 10.
Episode 10,
So
y'all.
before we go anywhere, I do want you to mull, listeners and viewers and Reb, I do want you to mull this question over in your head before we get into part 2 after the creator segment. What are things that you do consciously and subconsciously to keep yourself safe? Safe.
First, you'll have to define safe.
Safety. We go to places safely.
Safely. Yeah, I guess I'll start with consciously. I'm naturally just a very anxious person, so I'm consistently vigilant. And weirdly enough, sometimes I'm also aloof and oblivious to certain things, but I try to be very cognizant of my surroundings. And when people have like a lack of personal space, I start to get, if someone's walking like very like fast behind me, like I'll even like be as obvious as like going to the side and being like, please, like keep going forward. Like I hate that. I hate that so much. I'd rather you walk in front of me. So it's just like small little things like that I try to be aware of. Subconsciously, I feel to look out for my safety. I don't know. How would you define subconsciously being safe?
I don't know, which is why as we were discussing, talking about this topic, I started thinking about this myself and like really started to notice that like in the last few years, the way I dress changed. I was very much like not about wearing shorts and not about wearing tank tops. I'm a very like heavy chested and heavy assed woman. Like, so I think I just started like subconsciously covering it all up because I didn't, and it still happens no matter what I wear, no matter what women wear, we're still going to get accosted. Yeah. I started noticing that I was doing this because I didn't want people to approach me. Yeah. I didn't want men to talk to me. Right. Like in a few episodes back when you were like, I don't want people to talk to me. That's me in public. I don't want you to fucking talk to me.
Yeah. Especially being catcalled.
Yeah. Fuck that. Yeah. Jesus Christ. And so yeah, those are things that I was like subconsciously doing. Consciously, I do actually check my back seat before I get into my car every single time. Okay. Yeah. But it's not like, I'm not like in the window, like, where you at? Right. I'm like, it's very much like a passing, like, oh good, there's no strange man back there. Great.
Right. Okay. Yeah, no, I mean, there are definitely, like, things I guess I would subconsciously do, like, maybe, like, I don't know, second check the house before I leave. Locks, exactly. You just hear of too many freak accidents, I feel. Like, it's like, okay, you leave the door unlocked for, like, a few minutes, and I still sometimes may do that. But it's, like, that one moment that the person can use that opportunity to just intrude and invade your house and your privacy and steal or other things. So pillage. Yeah.
Pillage your home.
Yeah, I mean, you just hear of way too many stories of people who just, they make it their mission to, you might be staked out and you don't know it. You know?
Yeah. Yeah. That was actually this is gonna sound so bad, but I was actually really paranoid about that for like a year when I lived with my parents.
Really?
Yeah, we moved to this like new neighborhood. It's where they are now. You know where that house is. And like the house across the street got busted for having like a meth lab in the garage. Oh. And for those of you listening, like my parents live in a very uppity, nice neighborhood. Yeah. I'm not trying to brag, but like it's like if I had to describe it to you, it's like where old white people go to retire.
Yeah, it's an affluent area.
Yeah. And so like we didn't think there'd be a fucking meth lab. Thanks, Daniel, who I went to school with, by the way.
So you knew.
Yeah, but I didn't know he was doing a meth lab.
Wow.
I would have reported it myself. But
where is he now? Is he
probably in jail? I don't know where he is.
Still in jail?
He used to be like hot too. That's a shame.
Oh, yeah, that does a number on your face.
Yeah, it does.
Body.
And your teeth. Oh,
yeah,
the teeth.
yeah,
Meth
yeah.
teeth.
Ugh,
Ooh,
gross.
not kissing that.
No.
But no, like that happened, and like for a whole year after that, I was about 16 when this happened. I was like so paranoid. I was like looking out the window at all times of the day.
Mm-hmm.
Like I would be doing my homework near the window. Like,
Mm-hmm.
oh, strange car walked by or drove by. Oh, who's that new man? What's his
Yeah.
dog?
Yeah, it reminds me of like Disturbia in that movie where he's on house arrest and he has like no other thing to do but just to like memorize his neighbor's schedule. Of course, that's when he starts to realize that his next door neighbor is completely psycho. So I mean, yeah, it's there are times where I mean you should actually start paying attention.
Yeah. The reason we're having this conversation is because human trafficking and abductions have been in the light a lot recently.
Oh.
And there are people like Jeanette. I forgot her last name, but she recently went to Twitter and Instagram with her story, and it's scary as fuck. And so we're going to talk about it. We're going to talk about, what it feels like to be a woman dealing with this stuff, knowing that anybody could be trying to human traffic you into servitude. Mm-hmm. We're going to talk about steps that you can take to not get trafficked. So
yeah.
It's a good time.
Yes. It's always a good time to discuss that. It never seems to die off.
No.
Yeah. Unfortunately.
Unfortunately. And the sad fact is, in the last 10 years, human trafficking numbers and survivors, let me say this, have gone up. In the last 10 years, it's gone up about, I believe the number was 58%.
Okay.
So while the number of survivors is also increasing, the number of abductees is also increasing. So
Catch-22.
Catch-22. But it does mean that organizations are working double time to help people, which is really great. And in the show notes, we will have a lot of different organizations that you can check out, and kits that you can order in the event you feel that you want to help a survivor of human trafficking. So it'll be super exciting.
Yeah.
Yeah. So after this quick break, we'll be back with the second part of this podcast.
This is where a sponsored ad would go, if we had any. If you would like to be a sponsor for one of our episodes, please reach out to C3 Podcast by emailing us at c3podcastcreative@gmail.com.
Here's the thing that we should definitely dive into about human trafficking, which is a bunch of different reasons for it. It's not just sexual slavery. It's not just one thing. I'm going to have a few interesting facts for us to read through. So, actually, Reb was already up on this. She was already up on the different reasons for human trafficking. So I'm going to let you explain them.
Okay. So like you were saying, it's not always regarding sex. Mm-hmm. A lot of it is labor exploitation.
Yep.
People forced to, one of the examples I read was to work, on a farm or as, slaves, essentially. Like you would think in 2019, nearly 2020, we're above that, but we're not. So yeah, I mean, those were mainly the distinctions that I read upon.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. There's also, I think we were discussing this earlier, organ stealing organs.
Organ harvesting.
Yeah, like that's crazy. And we were talking about it earlier, and we were like, we must be sheltered because we didn't know that shit was real.
Yeah, you always just think like, oh man, thank God it's a movie, and it's like somewhere out there, it's probably just it's happening.
Yeah,
it's already happened.
Sure. Yeah, someone's lost their kidney.
Yeah,
or other organs that we have in our bodies that we all know about.
Yes, all of them.
I once lost my gallbladder, everyone.
Oh, yes. But that was by choice.
That was by choice. Yes. I didn't have it stolen.
Yeah. You consented.
I feel like the rum is what fucks me up the most. Like tequila is fine, but the rum fucks me up.
I think it should be rum every time.
No. Like I am so warm right now.
I'm so warm.
Oh my God. Okay. I can make it. So yeah, commercial sex, labor, just labor in poor conditions, and organ harvesting are the top 3 reasons for human trafficking in this day and age. Now, that being said, there are plenty of other reasons for human trafficking as well. And there are plenty of resources where you can see, like, for yourself the impact and why human trafficking is such a big industry. It's I believe I read $113 billion industry. In 2019, people still buying humans.
Wow.
Yeah, think about that.
That's really insane.
That's
I,
what are we doing?
yeah, like you can purchase a human.
Yeah,
Like,
you can.
that statement is just ridiculous.
Yeah.
But it's rampant.
Yeah.
In many places.
It is. And I think a lot of people think that it's only in like developing nations where this is happening. Mm-hmm. It's not. The United States is rife with human trafficking. And we'll get into more of that later when we get into like our personal experiences. But let's get into these facts. So a few facts that I found about human trafficking specifically in the United States are, one, it doesn't just happen somewhere else. So as we said, it doesn't just happen overseas. It's happening right here.
Yeah.
U.S. soil.
Yep.
To
Sometimes
Americans.
Even in your backyard.
Even in your backyard.
Yeah.
Even, I mean, all these cases of kidnapped girls, it makes me really sad because I'm like, either they're dead or they're sold into human trafficking.
And I mean, there's, the story of what happened with, what was her name? Amanda Knox?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Going to Italy. I mean, they've made movies about it, like Taken.
Yeah.
So it's very, who's the other one?
Emily Smart.
Emily Smart. Yes, and then I forget that there was another one because she didn't make it out alive. She was in Jamaica, I think.
Oh.
Yeah, with her class.
I do not recall the name of that young lady.
It's like on the tip of my tongue. It's totally escaped me. But basically going to, and obviously when you go to a foreign country, people are aware that you are a tourist. Right. So they're going to take advantage of that fact. So it's scary. Yeah. Like it's super, super scary. So, girls are highly targeted, especially if, they're alone or if it's just even like a small group of them.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And there was one, 2 women went overseas. I forgot where they went, but their luggage made it to the airport. Okay. They did not.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So I believe that's still going on. I really need to check it. But yeah, that's a good example of that. Just,
What place was that?
I cannot remember. I believe it was in Europe.
Okay.
But basically, yeah, their family and friends called the airport, and the airport was like, yeah, we have their luggage right here. They never checked in, though. They never boarded the plane. So obviously they're trying to, they contacted the U.S. Embassy and like they're going through all the steps. But yeah, that's scary as fuck.
My goodness.
Number 2, since we mentioned women specifically, it's more than just young women who are victims of sex trafficking. Everybody is targeted by human trafficking. So while women may be the targets for specifically sex trafficking, keep in mind that men, young men, old man, they are being targeted for exploitation of labor, organ harvesting. Again, when you see these movies where people wake up in a bathtub full of ice, like that shit's real. Yeah. And they're missing their kidneys.
That's so scary.
I cannot imagine. Shut up, Rat. Yeah. Number 3, it's about power and control. So it's literally all about that. So a lot of people think that when you get human sex trafficked, I don't think that's the proper term. People expect you to be like offshored, like you're put on a plane, flown to somewhere else. A lot of times that's not the case. Right. When you get abducted, what typically happens is they'll just keep you in like a different location and tell you that there's no hope for you to get out, especially if you're a child and you're like, where's mommy and daddy? Oh, mommy and daddy can't help you now.
Yeah. So you get brainwashed at that point.
Exactly. You're close. You're close. Stockholm syndrome. Yeah, there you go. You were close.
Sorry about that, everyone. That was really embarrassing for me, and I'm sure for you.
No. We're here to learn, and if we have to learn how to speak words, that's a learning process.
Had rum.
That rum hits though. Like I don't know how to explain.
Yeah,
maybe I just need to drink more. That's what I'm learning. Because clearly,
I've been telling you this all this time.
I can't because I get naked.
That's how we get viewers. Talking about sexploitation.
Oh no!
There it is, right there. We really shouldn't be making light of this. Like, no, this is not our intention whatsoever. You know us, we get like a little silly, but this is very, very much a genuinely. It's a very serious subject.
It's very serious.
Yeah,
we just happen to be drunk.
Yeah, we just we like to throw in a little bit of comic relief here and there. But
because goddamn, like, this is depressing.
I know.
Ugh.
It's but it's very real, and it happens. So
it happens.
What's the next fact?
Number 4. Americans are the largest producers of pornography in the world, but we're also the largest consumers of pornography in the world. And
wow.
Because of
Double
this,
whammy.
exactly, because of this consumption and producing, we're also the country with the largest, like, human trafficking.
Yeah.
Both in and out.
Yeah. No pun intended.
Bazinga. But it makes people, I think people really view human trafficking as like a third world thing. No, a lot of it's perpetuated because of the United States and our consumption and production of pornography.
Yeah.
That being said, I'm 100% pro porn. I want everyone to know this right now.
Cheers.
Because porn is often the educational resource for adults who did not get a proper sex education.
So what are your thoughts on because you say pornography does facilitate this this issue of human trafficking.
So the way that I was explained to it and how I read it is that because people are engaging in porn, whether producing it or consuming it, those consuming it who have the capital to do so will often buy a person, they'll engage in these acts that facilitate sex exploitation. So really, I don't think this is a fault of pornography itself.
Okay.
I think this is a fault of people who engage in taboo things. Okay. So if you have a fantasy or a fetish that is just disgusting, like God forbid, you're really into, kids. If you are, and you're listening to this, I fucking hope you die.
True.
Like, I don't have any qualms saying that. Sorry. But, if that's how usually they'll get their kicks. They'll go to someone who's peddling a child, prostitute, and they'll engage in acts with that.
Okay.
And the child, I hate saying this, child prostitution is usually the highest human trafficking source, resource. Because children are easy to pick up, they're easy to brainwash, they're easy to manipulate. And
they're fresh. As fucked up as that is, but that's why they're so, I guess, sought out.
And it's gross. But it's totally things like that, or like if you have a fetish for like extreme brutalization. Excuse me. There are pimps and people who traffic humans that'll allow you to, beat the fuck out of one of their charges.
Wow.
Yeah. So, and I shouldn't say charges, it's their victims. And so that's usually how pornography feeds into the human trafficking.
I see. Yeah, thing. There's a lot of different genres of pornography that I've heard that teeter on this line and very
like
kind
slasher.
Of questionable. Yeah, exactly. Like just very gory, like sex gore, basically. That's what people want. And like you were saying, they want to act on that.
Yeah. So you find some shady pimp in a corner. Yep. And then that's all she wrote. I recently learned about Vor.
I have heard of that.
I hadn't for like the longest time in my life, and now I know what it is, and I'm horrified.
Isn't it? It has to do with like almost like cannibalism.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's what I thought. Yeah.
If I'm getting it right, it's either the act of like eating something whole or being eaten whole. I don't know which one it is, but it involves consumption.
Yeah.
Which is disgusting. But I mean, I'm not gonna kink shame. I'm not gonna ring the kink alarm bell. Y'all know you're nasty. I don't have to say it.
There's some limitations. Goddamn.
Goddamn.
I would like to keep my nose, like if that's what gets your rocks off. Like I love eating noses.
Well, there was a YouTube channel that got like in a lot of trouble because they were basically doing content for vor fetishists.
Maybe that's where I first saw it.
Oh, maybe
that could have been. I don't know if they were doing it like animation style or
no. It was like a reptile channel.
Oh no.
Oh, okay.
It was another one.
There's a lot of you out there. Apparently,
there are a lot of them out there.
Oh my God. And the last one, it isn't just male strangers who are perpetrators. This one's so important because there was like a string of articles where it was like these women who would like stalk you in the supermarket, and they'd be like, can you help me get my groceries to the car? Like, they'd be really frail acting.
Okay.
And then when you go to their car, like, 2 dudes would jump out and shove you in their van.
Ah.
Yeah. Now, this is going to sound so bad. But for me, like, now I'm so wary of those people that come up to you and you're like, and they're like, do you want to go to my religious congregation? First of all, I'm not really religious anyway. So that doesn't work on me.
Yeah.
I'll literally be like, get the fuck away from me.
Yeah.
And if I see you following me again, I'm calling the police. Like, I'm so mean about it.
Yeah. Wow. Okay. So I'm sure they stop at that point because some of them are pretty insistent.
No one fucks with me. Like,
Yeah.
I'm really nice.
Yeah.
People listening, I swear to you, I'm a really nice person, but I don't let you make fuck on me, and I don't want to make fuck on anybody else. So just leave me alone.
Yeah. I mean, that's fair. Like, I yeah. No, I mean, like, when people approach me like that, I get super, like, antsy. I like I say, I get super on edge when someone is near and around my personal space. They probably have no self-realization. Like, they're probably not aware that they're doing it, but, like, I don't like it when people are, like, so close to me.
That's sad because I'm always in Rep's personal space.
Unless I know
I'm just
you,
like, take me, wife.
There are certain exceptions.
Certain exceptions.
Yes.
Okay.
I mean, it's a simple request, but a lot of people don't honor it.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, we're a culture that has like glorified, things like hugs and handshakes and stuff like that. So
right, and
yeah.
and it should be understood that that's through people
Yeah.
or you've been prefaced to meet in some sort of way. So when someone out of nowhere comes up and they might not have any malicious intent, but it's like their thing to just be like very like touchy and close, and I don't fuck with that at all.
No, I feel that.
Yeah.
Because they could be human traffickers.
Yeah.
Like after
essentially.
Yeah, but like after doing the research for this, I'm like really, really like side eyeing a bunch of people in public now. Just,
yeah.
What are you doing there?
Yeah, I mean, you don't know. I wonder what a stat is for that. It's like you've walked by at least like one or two like serial killers in your entire life at some point.
I hate that statistic because I know it's true.
I know. It's true.
Yeah.
It's so freaky.
But I'm just like, they didn't get me this day.
Yeah, like, well, I came out victorious. At least for now. No promises about tomorrow.
No promises about tomorrow, for real. But yeah, I mean, the point of that last point, guys, was that it's not just strange men that you have to worry about. It's strange people.
Yes.
In general that you have to worry about. But, I mean, make friends. Make friends, I guess.
Yeah, travel in packs.
Travel in packs. And that's a rule that you'll come across a lot when you're looking up, like, how to avoid being trafficked.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I can always, I don't know if you ever have felt this, but you can almost sense a situation that would have been something if you were by yourself, but because you were with a group of people, it didn't happen. Have you ever felt that way?
No, because I'm the instigator in my group.
So it's like whether you're by yourself or in a group, you're still gonna like not be fucked with whatsoever.
Well, it's either like, okay, because I think you've seen me do this maybe like in my younger days. I've calmed down a lot because someone will come over like to the group and be like, start a fight, and I'll be like, yeah, fucking start a fight, man, do it.
I want you to.
I want you to swing first, cuz. Back to all those facts we just said.
Yes.
Right now, how do you feel like about how you go through your day? Like, how do you feel about your safety on any given day?
Generally pretty fine. I'm almost always in like a public area, so if something were to happen, at least 3 people will see it. There'll be witnesses there.
Do you feel like they would help though?
That's a really good question. It's like nowadays, I feel like if I were to be like abducted and if I was screaming for help, people wouldn't just kind of walk idly by.
You'd be surprised.
Yeah, I honestly, like, I would like to think that people wouldn't just want to keep going and minding their own business. But I mean, then again, people don't want to step in a mess. So,
yep.
Which is sad, because that person could be the difference between that person getting abducted and not getting abducted.
That's very true. It's very frequent. It's on frequent occasions where adults will see a child walk off and not do anything, which is often how children end up going missing. I'm guilty of that as a child long ago.
Yeah.
I'm also one of those people that, because knowing this and because I worked with children for so long, if I see a child by themselves, I will go out of my way to be like, whose child is this?
Yeah.
Whomst?
Little
Jimmy, who's your mother? Tell me.
The grocery store's intercom and just make an announcement.
I've done that before. Like, I'm totally that nosy. I'm just like, hey, I found this fucking kid.
Yeah.
It's about 4'2".
I don't want it following me anymore, so please come claim him or her.
Thanks.
It.
I don't know what they identify as. They won't tell me.
They're strange beings.
Hello, do you have a name?
Yes.
No? Okay.
I will proceed to call you it.
Very good. Very good, child.
Yes.
I shall call you Skipper. But no, it's very, because I know that I was one of those kids to just like wander off, so I get it when kids do it. But nowadays with the especially in the area that we live in where there's so many people, I can't sit by while kids just walk by me anymore. I can't. So that's just like a personal thing for me.
Yeah. No, a bunch of sense. I don't think I've ever seen a child like on their own. I've maybe seen them wander, like just kind of wander off a little from where their parents are, but their parents aren't looking, and that's as much time as it needs to take to just swoop a kid.
Yeah.
And they're gone.
Yeah, for sure. So I get that too, and I get a lot of people don't want to like be all up in that kid's business. So.
Right. And you don't want to look weird. I mean, it's much easier for women to approach a child and say, hey, are you lost? Whereas if a man does it, a grown man, they're like, hey, are you lost? And it's a lot different.
That's stranger danger there.
Yeah, that's stranger danger for sure.
Yeah. And that's such a good point, because we are taught that, especially as little girls, don't talk to strange men.
Yeah.
So
if you're lost or whatever, go up to, my parents would always say that. They'd tell me to always go up to a female.
Yep.
Yeah.
So that's such a great point. And it is, as we stated before, it can be a woman that's the child abductor.
That's true.
Because they know that a child will trust them.
Yep.
And which is why if I have children, I'll be teaching them to trust no bitch.
Trust no bitch.
Trust no bitch, little Jimmy.
That's so funny.
You can find mommy and that's it.
Or you could give anyone, Tim told me this when he was little, and he said it wasn't anything unique or exclusive his parents came up with, but it was to give someone else who would come pick him up from school, like a code word. Like if he wasn't sure who was going to come get him that day, and someone came through and they said, hey, I'm here to get you, he would ask them what the password or code word would be, and
That's
they would.
so fun.
Yeah. So that way it's safety. It's like a fun little game, but at the same time just being super cautious and super safe. Yeah.
That's awesome. That's a good system.
Yeah.
Take note, parents listening to the podcast.
See.
Tim had it right.
Yeah.
My parents had it way wrong. They were like, you kick somebody in the balls and run. Yes, ma'am. So my violent inclinations now as an adult make sense.
Yeah, there you go. They have not led you astray.
They really haven't. My parents were like, if you need to kill someone, do it. Like, we'll bail you out later.
Self-defense.
I'm cool with that.
Right?
What is wrong with that? I see nothing wrong.
Yeah. I mean, you have to do what you have to do in order to ensure you're safe.
Yeah.
So.
Were your parents kind of the ask somebody for help?
They were, and I too, I would wander off a few times, just because I was careless as a child. I mean, all kids are.
Yeah.
But I don't really I think they did stress, like don't like just go up to anyone.
Yeah.
Like mind your surroundings, be cautious, be vigilant. So they always stress that.
Yeah.
Constantly.
That's good.
Yeah.
That's even level. Like Tim's was like, let's make it a game. Your parents were like, okay, here's safety.
Yeah.
My parents were like, kill him.
Yeah, I mean, I could actually, I'd be curious to ask my parents that again, because maybe even at some point, I think my parents said they would have been more on the same lines as your parents and say,
Really?
if you feel like you need to, do something to defend yourself, do it.
Yeah.
So.
I think that's hard to tell little girls sometimes.
Yeah.
Because one, especially with our parents and their generation,
right.
A woman is supposed to be dainty and soft. Demure. But I think a lot of people are realizing that a woman can't just be that. And you shouldn't have to just be that anyway. I think I'm very demure. But also, I'll cut a bitch.
Yeah.
I'm fine with that.
You can be both.
You can be both. I think that I'm an asset to my friends who are more inclined to justice and peace. I'm inclined to chaos and violence. When it comes to like rules of engagement and as to not get abducted, right? How do you feel about all these rules being targeted to women mainly? Because for me, it doesn't piss me off. I won't say that. But it doesn't make me feel uneasy because, don't wear this. Don't walk alone.
Yeah.
Don't do this at night.
It's unfortunately sad but true. Mm-hmm. Just because women are perceived targeted. And targeted as weaker. Mm-hmm. So you have to feel like sometimes you need to cover up more than you should. Mm-hmm. If you happen to walk by an area that's you feel or know is sort of unsafe, mm-hmm. or you're gonna get catcalled and God knows what else. Mm-hmm. That's scary.
It is.
So it's like, those sorts of facts exist because it's for a reason.
Yeah.
And hopefully that can change at some point.
Yeah.
I think we're making strides.
For sure.
There are certainly many pieces to that puzzle, but women are becoming more. I think a lot of times there was actually this one video I remember seeing where a guy attacked a girl, but she knew jujitsu and she completely like put him on his ass.
Yeah.
So it's just like knowing what you can do to defend yourself, and like you were saying, it's more, unless you are like so fucking trained and knowing how to put someone down, you should run.
Yeah. Just run.
Just run.
That's a good point, because I really want to stress that yes, women have come so far in the way of advocating for themselves, mm-hmm. advocating for the entirety of women, finding strength in womanhood. That's so beautiful to see, especially as we grow up into this kind of culture of womanhood that I don't think that even our mothers had. Mm-hmm. I think that's so beautiful. But I think that it also means realizing that there's still a lot of, there's a variety of issues plaguing women as a whole. Mm-hmm. And when it comes to this specific thing, human trafficking, it's important for us to realize that, yes, there are certain things that we can do to keep ourselves safer, and no, they may not be fair. But instead of saying like, oh, just teach men not to rape, we should be doing that. That's good. Mm-hmm. But sane men, the ones who are not abducting women, they already know abducting women is bad. So we're talking to a group of men that has already decided that abducting women for their own gain is okay. Mm-hmm. So we have to realize what audience we're saying that to. Yeah. I'm totally down for still saying teach men not to rape, because you should do that anyway. Mm-hmm. If you have sons, if you have daughters, teach them not to sexually harass men either. But I think that we're just in a weird place where, although saying like, don't walk alone at night as a woman, you don't want to hear it, because I should be able to do whatever the fuck I want, right? Yeah. However, me doing whatever the fuck I want and walking at midnight by myself could get my ass abducted. Yeah. Yep.
So it's like one of those things that you want to fight what's happening. You want to be able to prove it wrong, but you don't want to put yourself in a hazardous in a hazardous situation.
Exactly. So I hate all the rules and how they pertain to women specifically almost. Mm-hmm. However, there are things that we all do to keep ourselves out of trouble. Yeah. I think if you get attacked at night, you didn't deserve that. But if you get attacked at midnight because you're by yourself and in a bad area, you made some choices. Let's own our choices. Yeah. But beyond that, there's a lot we can be doing to fight specifically human trafficking and sex trafficking as an organization, as a $113 billion organization. Mm-hmm. And we'll have a lot of those resources put down below the show notes. along with some of the resources that we found while we were searching for articles to pull from. But yeah, this was a I mean, I love this episode. I do. I think I'm going to love editing it. But at the same time, it's sobering because we are both women. I would have loved to maybe get a man's perspective.
Yeah.
Because I know that they often feel attacked when women are like,
yeah,
you know,
yeah,
stop abducting us. Well, if you're not abducting us, like, don't worry the fuck about it.
right. Like if the shoe doesn't fit, then don't worry about it.
Yeah, don't howl.
Yeah.
Like,
I think at some point we could circle back and kind of touch back on this conversation or this topic and have a male. We could, chime in and kind of give their perspective.
For sure.
Yeah.
And, when it, just to like circle back to the man component of this conversation, while it is men who are not typically sold into sex slavery, it is men who are typically abducted for organ harvesting. So men, it would behoove you to also make sure you're not in sticky situations, lest you wish to lose various organs.
Interesting. I didn't know that. Why is it men more targeted for that?
I don't actually know. I didn't look into it so much because I did want to focus on women's safety since that was like the perspective in which I could speak from. And also, like, it's been, like, 5 different accounts of people getting almost abducted in Ubers and Lyfts this week. So
yeah, this week.
This week. Keep that in mind, this week. And that's just the ones that managed to get out and tell their story to Twitter and or Instagram, which is where I live. So, but yeah, that's why I didn't really look too much into organ harvesting. So, yeah.
Okay. Interesting. I'll do some digging.
Yeah, it's very interesting. I mean, I think everyone should know some resources. I didn't quite find a cohesive list of things to do if you felt like someone was being trafficked.
Okay.
Because the one thing you should not do is like confront their pimp or their handler.
Okay.
Or whatever. You should not do that.
I'm sure it's a very precarious situation.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was like the one thing I couldn't get a straight answer for. But again, there are plenty of organizations that people can contact, and those organizations, I guess, will help you.
That's true.
So yeah.
Okay. Well, yeah, that's been very, very informative. As we always try to make it for you guys. But if you have any stories of yours, personal testimonies that you'd want to share, please do not hesitate to reach out to us. Let us know. We would love to hear what your thoughts and perspectives are on the issue. So yeah, holler at us.
Holler. Back in 2000, holler. But no, so yeah, this has been a great episode. Thank you guys for listening / watching, depending on where you're viewing / listening. Wow.
Viewing / listening and or both.
and doing both. So yeah, you can always catch the C3 podcast on various social networks. On Facebook at C3 Podcast Creative. On Twitter and Instagram at C3 Podcast _. The underscore is very important.
Yes.
Please do not go follow the wrong podcast, because you will if you forget the underscore. We're the orange one.
The orange one. That's true.
If you guys are listening on iTunes or Spotify, please give us a rating. We love to see you guys do the ratings and give us a good 5-star. Or even 4-star, but don't give us 3-star. That's mean.
Yeah, that's rude.
That's rude. Why would you even listen if it's 3-star?
At least give us an explanation as to why.
Yeah.
Then we can fix it.
We can fucking fight.
Yeah. Come at me, bro.
Come at me, bro. You want to do this? We'll do it. You can follow me personally at Nika Marie Actress on Instagram. It's Nixia on Twitter, and Nika Marie ENT on Facebook.
Yep. And you can follow me on Instagram at Bex_model and on Twitter at BexC3 Podcast.
No, you can't. I guess you can. I lied to everyone.
I'm trying to network here.
I'm so sorry. Please network for her.
All right. Well, thank you guys for tuning in, and we will see you next episode.
Bye.
Bye.